You know what's crazy? There's a doctor in Japan who lived past 100, and until his very last days, he was still working, reading, remembering facts, names, faces, and even medical terms most people half his age would forget in seconds. His mind was sharp as a blade. No Alzheimer's, no dementia, no confusion, just pure mental clarity. And here's the wild part. He claimed that anyone can train their brain to remember everything, even past the age of 70. Yeah, you heard that right. You can literally force your memory to work like a machine, no matter how old you are. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly how Japan's oldest practicing doctor did it, and how you can do it too. Ducat. Shigeaki Hinohara always said that the moment you stop challenging your mind, you start aging mentally, no matter what your physical age is. He compared the brain to a muscle that needs constant use to stay strong and flexible. Most people think that as they grow older, their memory naturally fades, but he disagreed completely. He believed that the real cause of memory decline wasn't age. It was inactivity of the mind. The truth is, the brain thrives on curiosity, creativity, and learning. When you give it new experiences and force it to think, to solve, and to imagine, it starts building new neural connections. That's how you literally grow your memory and mental strength. Hinohara never allowed his brain to rest in autopilot mode. He made it a rule to learn something new every day, even something small. If he read a page in a book, he made sure to recall it later. If he met someone, he remembered their story, their tone, their details. He believed that every new experience, every conversation, and every problem was a chance to stretch the brain's limits. That's how he stayed mentally sharp past the age of 100. He refused to retire, not because he needed to work, but because he knew that retirement often means shutting down the most powerful part of you. Your curiosity, he once said. If you retire your mind, your life retires with it. When people asked him why he kept working at such an old age, he said it wasn't about staying busy, it was about staying alive mentally. He saw purpose as mental fuel. Every new patient, every lecture, every question was an opportunity for him to keep his brain running at full speed. And science now proves what he already knew decades ago. The more you challenge your brain with new and complex tasks, the more it adapts and grows. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't disappear with age. It just needs stimulation to stay active. Docker. Hinohara never let routine dull his mind. He mixed up his daily schedule, met new people, and changed small habits on purpose. He might take a different route to work, read about a subject outside of medicine, or listen to young people's ideas just to keep his perspective fresh. He believed that when you stop learning, you start shrinking, mentally and emotionally. The secret wasn't about studying hard, it was about living with curiosity. He encouraged people to ask questions, to challenge what they already know, and to explore the unfamiliar. He said that a mind that keeps learning never gets old. He also practiced mental exercises that most people overlook. He played memory games, recalled conversations before bed, and visualized his plans for the next day. He didn't depend on gadgets or notebooks for memory. He trusted his mind to remember. Over time, this constant use made his recall razor sharp. The brain, he said, rewards consistency. You don't have to do something grand, you just have to keep it moving. The moment you stop feeding your brain new information, it starts letting go of what it already knows. That's why people like him, who live with a purpose and challenge their minds daily, often stay mentally young, alert, and unstoppable even when their bodies grow old. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara often said that movement was his secret weapon for keeping both his body and mind young. He truly believed that a still body leads to a still mind, and a moving body keeps the mind alive. Every morning, even in his 90s, he made it a point to move, sometimes walking to work, sometimes climbing stairs instead of taking the elevator. He didn't do it as a strict workout routine, but as a lifestyle. Movement, he believed, was food for the brain. Modern science supports this completely. When you move your body, your heart pumps more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, which helps neurons function more efficiently. The increased circulation strengthens the parts of the brain responsible for focus, creativity, and memory. Exercise isn't just about keeping muscles strong. It's about keeping your mind alert, responsive, and alive. Hinohara's philosophy was simple: never sit still for too long. He used to say that the worst thing a person can do is spend the whole day sitting. Prolonged sitting, he explained, dulls blood flow and slows brain activity. That's why he kept his days dynamic, walking between appointments, standing while reading or writing, and even pacing during conversations. He believed that when your body is in motion, your brain becomes more engaged. His favorite activity was walking, because it wasn't just physical, it was mental meditation. He observed the people, the sounds, the environment. He trained his awareness with every step. That mindfulness during movement allowed him to think clearly and retain information better. He also emphasized that physical movement should never stop with age. Many people slow down after 60, believing they should rest more. But he argued that rest should come from doing meaningful things, not from doing nothing. He encouraged seniors to stay active through walking, gardening, dancing, or light stretching, anything that keeps the blood flowing and the mind alert. He said the body and brain are like two gears in a clock. When one stops, the other eventually stops too. Keeping the body active keeps the mind turning smoothly. He was living proof of this. He continued to see patients, give lectures, and travel well into his hundreds, all while maintaining remarkable energy and sharpness. Hinohara also liked to challenge his balance and coordination. He practiced standing on one leg while brushing his teeth, used stairs to keep his legs strong, and did gentle stretches before bed. He said these simple actions sent signals to the brain, strengthening neural pathways related to balance and focus. Even small physical challenges, he believed, kept his reflexes and memory quick. He often told people that they didn't need to go to a gym. Life itself provides enough opportunities to move if you stop avoiding them. Taking a walk after meals, standing more than sitting, doing chores manually instead of using machines. These habits made him feel connected to life and kept his body and brain working together in perfect harmony. He believed that the best time to move was always now. Waiting for motivation was useless because movement itself creates energy. He said that if you start walking, your brain wakes up. If you start stretching, your body responds. If you start moving, your mood lifts. It's all connected. Movement brings clarity, and clarity strengthens memory. When you combine physical activity with curiosity and intention, you're not just exercising your body. You're feeding your brain exactly what it needs to stay young, sharp, and full of life. Dupper. Shigeaki Hinohara understood something most people overlook. What you feed your body directly affects how your brain performs. He didn't just eat to stay alive, he ate to stay mentally sharp. His relationship with food was rooted in discipline, simplicity, and awareness. He followed the Japanese principle of ahara hachi ba, which means eating until you're about 80% full. He believed that overeating drains both the body and the brain, slowing down your energy and clarity. By stopping before he felt completely full, he kept his digestion light, his mind clear, and his energy stable throughout the day. He said that a heavy stomach leads to a lazy mind, and a light body keeps thoughts quick and focused. His meals were simple but balanced, rich in vegetables, fish, tofu, and small portions of rice. He limited meat and avoided fried or processed foods. Instead of reaching for snacks, he often drank water, green tea, or freshly squeezed juice mixed with a spoon of olive oil, a small trick he believed helped blood circulation and brain function. He started every morning with gratitude and a light breakfast. A cup of coffee, some milk, and orange juice with olive oil were enough to fuel his day. He believed that breakfast should awaken the body gently, not overwhelm it. For lunch, he often ate fruits or small portions of vegetables, and for dinner, he kept it light, usually soup, salad, or a small piece of fish or chicken. He wasn't obsessed with calories or dieting. His focus was on balance and moderation. He said that the body knows what it needs if you learn to listen to it. What he avoided the most was sugar. He was convinced that sugar dulls the brain. Research now supports this idea. High sugar intake is linked to inflammation and cognitive decline. He once said, "If you want a clear mind, you must keep your blood clean," referring to how food impacts brain chemistry. He also believed in eating slowly and mindfully. Instead of rushing through meals, he chewed carefully, savoring every bite. This practice helped him digest better and feel satisfied with less food. Eating slowly also kept his mind calm and allowed his body to release the right hormones for focus and memory. Hinohara often told people that eating isn't just a physical act, it's a mental exercise. When you eat with awareness, you train your brain to stay present. When you eat mindlessly, you train it to wander and forget. His mindful eating habit became one of the cornerstones of his longevity and mental sharpness. He also believed that food could act as natural medicine. He encouraged people to eat foods that grow in their region and season, because he believed nature provides what your body needs at the right time. In winter, he ate root vegetables and soups to stay warm. In summer, he chose lighter foods and fruits for hydration. This connection with nature helped him maintain harmony between his body and environment. He warned against modern eating habits that fill the body but starve the brain. Fast food, refined sugar, and overeating out of boredom. He said these habits cloud thinking and shorten life. By eating simply, purposefully, and moderately, he kept his brain healthy, his focus sharp, and his memory strong. For him, nutrition wasn't just about extending life. It was about making every day mentally vibrant and clear. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara believed that memory isn't just stored in the brain. It's deeply tied to emotion and purpose. He often said, "The mind remembers what the heart feels." When you think about it, the most unforgettable moments in life are always the ones that touched your emotions. You might forget what you read last week, but you'll never forget how you felt when someone encouraged you, or when you achieved something you worked hard for. Hinohara understood that this emotional connection is the key to strengthening memory. He used emotion as a tool to anchor information in his mind. Whenever he learned something new, he would connect it to a feeling, a face, or a story. He didn't just memorize medical terms. He linked them to real experiences with patience. That's what made his memory so vivid, so alive. Science later confirmed what he practiced naturally. The hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, works more effectively when emotions are involved. He also emphasized the importance of purpose. Hinohara had a reason to wake up every morning. He never said, "I have to work." He said, "I get to serve." That sense of purpose fueled his mind. It wasn't just about having goals. It was about having meaning. He saw purpose as mental nutrition. People without a sense of direction, he said, begin to feel lost not only emotionally but mentally. Without something to look forward to, the brain loses motivation to store new information. But when you live with intention, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical that enhances focus, memory, and motivation. That's why he encouraged everyone, especially older adults, to keep doing what makes them feel useful and connected. Whether it's volunteering, teaching, creating, or simply caring for others, purpose keeps the brain alive. He also knew the danger of loneliness. He said, "Loneliness poisons the mind faster than any disease." That's why he surrounded himself with people of all ages, especially younger generations. He believed that conversations were exercises for the brain. Talking, listening, and sharing stories stimulate memory and creativity. Every person he met gave him something new to think about. He once mentioned that when he spoke with young students, he not only shared wisdom, but also received fresh perspectives that challenged his thinking. This exchange kept his brain adaptable and open. He treated human connection as medicine for memory. Studies have since proven that social engagement strengthens brain networks and slows cognitive decline, something he had already discovered through experience. Hinohara also practiced gratitude as a form of emotional grounding. Before going to bed, he would recall 3 things he was grateful for that day. He said it helped him sleep peacefully and remember the good parts of life instead of worrying about what went wrong. Gratitude calmed his mind and organized his thoughts, helping memories settle more clearly. His emotional discipline wasn't about avoiding feelings. It was about nurturing the right ones. Positive emotions like joy, curiosity, and gratitude strengthen brain function, while negative emotions like anger and regret weaken it. He believed that by choosing to focus on the bright side, you train your brain to stay open, flexible, and resilient. Emotion and purpose weren't just parts of his personality. They were his lifelong memory tools, keeping his mind active, compassionate, and unshakably young. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara believed that keeping the brain young and sharp required daily training, just like exercising the body. He practiced simple but powerful habits that strengthened his memory and focus every single day. One of his favorite techniques was active recall. Instead of reading something repeatedly, he would read once, close the book, and then challenge himself to remember the key ideas in his own words. He said that this simple act of forcing the brain to retrieve information built strong memory connections. It made learning stick because the brain learns best by doing, not just by seeing or hearing. He didn't memorize passively, he interacted with what he learned. Whether it was medical research, a patient's story, or a quote from a book, he would explain it aloud as if he were teaching someone else. Teaching, he said, was the best test of memory because it forces clarity and organization of thoughts. Another technique he loved was spaced repetition. He would revisit information after certain intervals. After 1 day, then 3 days, then a week. He said this method trained the brain to treat the information as important. Each time he recalled it, the memory grew stronger, like lifting a heavier weight with each session. This method helped him retain massive amounts of information, even as he aged. He was known for giving lectures at 100 years old without notes, remembering every point perfectly. He believed that anyone could train their memory this way if they practiced consistently. He also used visualization to bring information to life. When he needed to remember something complex, he didn't just repeat words, he pictured them. If he had to remember a schedule, he imagined himself walking through the day, seeing each task like a scene in a movie. For him, memory was about creating vivid pictures the brain could recognize instantly. Mindfulness was another daily practice that he never skipped. He believed attention was the foundation of memory. If you aren't truly present, you can't store anything properly in your brain. So, he trained himself to live in the moment. When he listened to someone, he listened fully. When he ate, he focused on the taste, the texture, the smell. When he walked, he noticed the air, the sound of his steps, the people around him. These small acts of awareness sharpened his focus and helped him absorb more from each experience. He said that the more aware you are of life, the more you remember it. He also practiced gratitude before sleeping every night. He would think of 3 good things that happened during the day and let go of any stress or negativity. He said that gratitude calms the nervous system and allows the brain to store positive memories clearly. It clears mental clutter, making room for learning and creativity the next day. He believed that a peaceful mind remembers better than a restless one. For Hinohara, brain training wasn't about big efforts or complicated systems. It was about daily habits that built discipline, calm, and clarity. He believed that the combination of active recall, spaced repetition, visualization, mindfulness, and gratitude could literally reshape the brain, keeping it young, adaptable, and endlessly capable, no matter the age.